Okay, boys and girls, welcome back to C Sharp Programming. Let's take a look at what we have here. Today's tutorial is going to talk about how we can add real classes to this Windows form. As you could see, I built a form, Foodland, very descriptive, and it has a couple menu items on there. It has a burger, fries, and a drink. And what happens when you run this is that when you pick certain items, for instance a burger and just a drink, and click on finish order, it'll give you what the total price was and tell you what you selected. And of course, when you run it again, we're going to hit all three this time. $4.50 and all three items. Okay, let's take a look at how I did this. Now this is obviously something you're very familiar with. This is the code for the form. And there's the burger button, fries button, and drink button, and a finish button. Now you'll notice that I have these things called Taco Bell in them, and I'm not really doing anything in there. That's because Taco Bell is something called a menu, which is what I created in a separate object, in a separate class. And in that menu class, I have a bunch of methods that perform all the operations for us. So, a regular form could use many different objects. And in a restaurant, one of those objects could be the menu object. And instead of putting all that in one class, I have them in separate classes. So whenever we want to add to the food form, we could use several different objects. We could start off with the menu object and use it inside of our Windows form. Now, the class menu, I have something called a property called total. Now in class, we've noticed that total, you could declare it up here like you normally would do, but in C Sharp, we have this properties that we could use instead that allows you to use the getters and setters to set the total and get the value of total. So you notice I have it commented out up here. That's because I originally had it typed out up there, but I wanted to show you that you don't need to have it there, because I could have it commented out and actually put it in a property in which I could have a total variable that's of type double, and I could get that value, whatever it is, and I could also set that value. Now notice that I set it with private, meaning that it cannot be accessed from outside this class. So no other object could come into this class and try to set the total. It has to be done within this class. But anybody could get the total value. Okay? So, let's take a look at the other things I did here. I have a method called burger, and I assigned the burger string to a string array once the burger is clicked, and I also add up the total, or at least add the burger total to the total price. And I do that for each one of these. I have fries, I add $1.50, a drink, I add another $1, and a sum up method, which is called by all these other methods, is keeping track of the total price. Okay, so every time I add something, the total gets updated, which we could see right here. Total is getting the price, which is passed in, which I did as a double, $2, $1.50, and $1. I put them in doubles, and it adds it to the total each time. So a way of breaking down all your code to show you how to get a little simple sum might be familiar to a certain assignment you have to do, huh? Also, the string array is taking in or adding to the string array every time you click on one of these objects. So that when the form certain buttons are clicked, they're calling these methods from the other object. In order to call these methods, you must create that object, which I did up here. Menu, menu. It's of type menu, just like of type int or type string. So Taco Bell is just a variable name, but the type is menu, which is what we created right here, this class object. And gets new menu, like you would call. This is the standard call for any constructor. Of course, I don't have a constructor in here, so it's using the default constructor, which is the no arguments constructor. It's building the new menu object, and I called it Taco Bell. When I hit a dot after Taco Bell, you could have access to all the public methods and public variables. So that's what I would choose, a method I wanted to use for each one of the buttons. I made them descriptive so I could easily find them. And of course, in our finish button, I used the text boxes of the form to show values that I got. Now, Taco Bell.array got the string menu array and assigned it to the text box, the order text box, and the total, which was a double, I changed it to a string by using the toString as we did before, and assigned it to the text box that shows the total. Right? Hopefully, this will help you get started on your another assignment, and hope you better understand how objects could be created and then used in a form. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.